Hello, my name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch, I'm an author, and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. And today's little chat is about recognising illusion. Now, you might say, why do we need to recognise illusion? Well, the modern world is full of things like fake news. Now, to be honest with you, fake news is nothing new. You only have to look at what used to be said about witches years ago. Look at some of the rubbish that was written in the Malleus Maleficarum, which was a sort of a witch hunter's guidebook. Pretty nasty. It's still in print, so it's quite interesting to read. But to me, if we create magic, if we believe we can create magic, if we desire to create magic, we should also try to recognise when magic and deceit are being practised upon us. If you look at some of the words we have for this kind of illusion, you look at words like beguiled. Now, to beguile is a very specific thing, and that is to divert somebody. It's really smoke and mirrors. It's to divert somebody from what is really happening, like a magician making you look that way when the trick is going on over here. So it's to divert with charm, to divert with, what do they used to call them, fancies, fripperies, things that don't matter. All right, and we get a lot of that. You look at the news, how it's set out sometimes in the newspapers and the online newspapers even, how it's all set up, how one picture is juxtaposed against another. It's got nothing to do with the story, it's another story. But the picture from one story is often used to reinforce the message in the other. Stories are not what they seem, and you have to be aware of it. And you have to try to shield yourself, if you like, because this nonsense is coming at you. It's being fired at you from all directions. And if you don't get it in hand, it will totally overwhelm you. In the end, you won't know what you're seeing, whether it really matters or not. A good witch should really be able to recognise these things. You see, when you think of it, people would go and visit the local wise woman and say, can you find this that's been stolen? Can you divine the future? Can you help me heal such and such? And she was expected to have a repertory of all these different things that they could deal with. But one of the most important things to know to deal with is to deal with deceit. In fact, it's one of the most important things a witch can learn how to deal with. You have to be able to recognise it. And there are always things that will act as triggers. The more you try to recognise it, you don't have to go mad with it, but the more you try to observe, learning to observe is terribly important. Because what a lot of people do is they pitch in. They pitch in straight away. Yes, listen to me, I'm an expert. I've read one book, I know it all. And no, chances are they don't know it all. Chances are they don't know very much at all. Sometimes you have just got to sit back and you've got to watch what's happening. And each time you watch, you learn a little more. And in the end, you can anticipate what's going to happen, which is really the essence of things like divination. It's a bit like driving a car or being a passenger, front passenger in the car, where you can see the driver of the car in front. And you begin to learn, as you're on the road more and more, you begin to see the things that are potential hazards. I mean, you will notice if you keep seeing the profile of the driver in front, that's usually because they're talking to their front passenger. They've turned their head. Well, they're not paying attention to the road. So the first thing you do is you get a little bit further back because, they've got a much better chance of having an accident or causing an accident simply because they're not really paying attention. You don't have to look at your passenger when you're talking to them. In fact, you shouldn't really. You should keep your eyes on the road. You also notice people who drive badly, who indicate badly, who cut in regularly. They don't do it just once. They do it time after time, And you begin to notice these things with that particular driver and you think, oh, I'd better get back from them. And it's surprising how you begin to build up this kind of pattern you can see. You know the ones, what they're going to do. You know the minute they get in front of you what sort of driver they're going to be. And you watch for it because how they drive affects the sort of journey you're likely to have. And it's much the same in the craft, that you are trying to anticipate the people around you, what they're going to do. You know, you have the people who come into your life who just want to take your time from you. They want to steal your time. And it's awful. You do it, first of all, you allow it out of kindness, sympathy, or because they are very nice to talk to. They are charming. They beguile you. And then all of a sudden you find your time is not your own. They demand your time. And you haven't got time for that. You really haven't. There is nothing wrong with turning around and saying, look, I want this morning to myself. You are entitled to it. So learning to... who's that? Somebody's having a dream. Learning to spot these signs, you will build up a good little repertoire of warnings and triggers, and you'll become a much wiser witch as a result. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. It's just a few thoughts. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.